Hey guys, my name is David Hill, and if you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know that I like to ski and to mountain bike and record what I do with my GoPro and then edit the footage and put it on the internet. Now, recently I've been getting quite a few questions about the settings that I use for my GoPro when I'm out recording, and what settings to use for sort of, the best quality, and so I thought I'd do a quick video explaining what settings I do use and the reasons why I use them. Now, the settings that I do use, I believe, are quite similar to some of the bigger guys who are doing this, like Abe at USC, and even GoPro themselves. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is the firmware update that GoPro released a few months ago for the GoPro HD and the standard GoPro Wide. It's really worth downloading. It's got loads of cool features, like the upside down function, one button on and off, and the live feed, things like that. It also, I didn't know this until a few weeks back, but I think it's worth you guys knowing, changes some of the settings like light intake, sharpness of picture, saturation, and there's a slight tweak in there that GoPro have included in the firmware update to increase the quality of the video. It's not an increase of quality as such, but it's a change of settings to give you a better picture. Okay guys, so now that you know about the firmware update and all the features included in that, I'll go straight into it. The setting that I like to use for most of my stuff, be it head cam or when I'm holding it and filming someone skiing, most stuff like that, I like to use the 720p at 60 frames per second. That is the R3 setting in the GoPro camera. I really like it because it's great for slow-mo. The high frame rate gives a really smooth picture even if you're not doing it for slow-mo, so I definitely recommend that as being the main one to use generally. Okay guys, so now I want to talk about the R4 setting, the 960p at 30 frames per second setting. I find this setting really great. Obviously it is a taller picture, so it comes up as a taller aspect ratio in the old 4:3 ratio instead of the 16:9 widescreen ratio like the R3 or R5 for example settings. So I find this really great if you've got a chest cam, or if you need a taller picture, for example if you've mounted it on your ski looking back at you, or especially I find for the chest cam it works particularly well. Gives a really involved picture. You can see that in my La Plenia video just showing now. I had a guy called Matt Oakes follow me down, and obviously you can see most of his bike and obviously me in the background, so it's great for that really involved picture. Alright then, moving on to some of the other functions on the GoPro, the other main one being the picture. The automatic picture taking I really like. Great if you mount it on your helmet. The pictures are taken in HD, and as long as there's good daylight, they come out really well. So this is us at the top of the Swiss National. Got a few photos. I believe I had it set on 5 seconds. If you're doing a sport that's sort of short bursts or of activity, so like a shorter mountain bike trail, then you could have it on 2 or 5, I'd recommend. I think I had this one on 5, but you do end up with quite a lot of photos that you don't want, but I think it's worth it for the great photos that come out at the end. So if you're doing a bit of a longer sport, like skydiving for example, you could have it every 10 or 30 seconds. Might be a bit of a better option, because you're pretty much guaranteed some amazing pictures there, but you don't want to have 100 million photos to sift through once you're done. Okay guys, last thing I want to talk about is the rendering software that I use and the editing software that I use. I do get quite a lot of questions about it, so I thought I'd just answer them now. So going into Powerdirector 8, it's an alright little program. It's what I use. It's sort of pretty cheap. I think it's about £80 or $100 I believe. So it's a great little program if you're on a tight budget like me. It's got some good features and it renders really nicely. It works really well with the GoPro, and it's got a pretty good workflow too. I do like to do some colour correction. You have to be really subtle and careful when you're doing colour correction. Just really little things like upping the sharpness by 5%, colour correction like saturation and brightness and contrast. You want to be really subtle when you're doing that, because it does affect the video in a big way. And if you do it right, it can be a really positive way. So going into what I render as an MPEG-2 file. I find it's best for uploading to the internet, and it really supports the most codecs and is the highest quality, I find. I've created a custom profile in 720p. Obviously I mainly shoot in 720p, so I like to render in that. It keeps it nice and close to the original resolution. Max bit rate for the highest quality, and my audio codec is just Dolby Digital 5.1, and again max bit rate for that. Okay guys, I think I covered everything in that. If you do have any more questions, leave me a comment or send me a message or anything like that, with any further questions that you might have or queries. Obviously if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe for some more mountain bike and ski videos, and I shall see you next time.